Is the Dagger the brush all watercolour painters should be using, or is my old favourite still the best all-rounder? Let's find out. I'll show you the Dagger brushes that I've tried and what they can do, so that you can figure out if it's the sort of thing that you'd like to add to your painting kit. A dagger brush is so called because of its shape, obviously, and I like to think of it as a sort of Swiss Army knife of watercolor brushes, because it's really like a combination of multiple brushes that you may already have or have been contemplating. So from that point of view, it's actually quite a good one because it's really quite versatile. This one is called an oval wash or a cat's tongue, and this is almost like one of those cut in half, so it's a bit like one of those. It's also quite like a flat because it is flat at the base where the bristles are held, and that means it makes nice, quite broad, flat marks. And similar to the flat, it is sold by measurement size as opposed to an unhelpful number. So this is a 1/2 inch. And you get the same sort of sizing situation if you're buying flat brushes, the sort of inch-based measurement. Rounds are usually sold based on their size as a number. Now, these numbers are not consistent across brands. So if some watercolor teacher tells you to get a number 8 round, that's completely unhelpful advice unless they tell you which brand they're talking about. Because I'll give you an example. This is a number 8 round. This is a number 8 round brush, and as you can see, they are really not the same. Now, while that inch-based measurement is quite helpful for understanding how wide the base of your brush is going to be at the ferrule there, the shape of the dagger brush is quite different from manufacturer to manufacturer. For example, have a look at this one that I've got from Princeton. Princeton's one of my favorite brush manufacturers, and these Princeton Neptunes have very soft bristles. So this one, it's starting to dry, so it's starting to get that woollied head look. If you put it in a bit of water, it comes back to its shape. But as you can see, this is a 1/2 inch, and this is a 1/2 inch. And they're quite different. You can see that this is going to take a lot more paint and give you a much bigger mark on the page, even though it's actually the same size across the base. So we said the dagger was a little bit oval wash, a little bit flat brush, and it's also a little bit like a rigger, which is another one of my favorite brushes. And I love this because it makes a very fine mark, but because the bristles are so long, it makes a very expressive mark. So it's a little bit more loose and unpredictable, which is the sort of painting that I tend to favor. Because the daggers have these long bristles, they're going to do the same sort of thing. So to my mind, you can use the dagger pretty much as if it was a round, but it's also going to behave a little bit like each of those at the same time. That means it's very versatile, but it also means there's quite a learning curve to using it. And as I say, because they're so different across the manufacturers, I haven't really found one that I've fell in love with yet. Recently, I heard someone making the observation that the dagger should be the brush that is recommended to all beginners because it does so very many things. This person was expressing some surprise that the round brush seems to get so much attention when the dagger can do so much more. That made me dig out my daggers and have a little bit more of a play with them to see if I might share that opinion. So let's see what the dagger can actually do. So this particular dagger, which is one from Rosemary & Co., the Rosemary & Co. Red Dot, it's got quite firm bristles, and that's quite an extreme difference from my super soft one. And I was thinking that maybe I might like that a little bit better. So let's give it a try. I tend to paint from palettes that are quite small, you know, the little wells. I've got some little half pans, and I do find that this is a little bit awkward to get into the pan. So that's just me. You know, if you tend to squeeze paint fresh from the tube, you won't find that an issue at all. So I've squeezed some onto my palette here to make it a little bit easier. I mean, obviously it's not impossible. It's easier for me if I use the full pan rather than the half pan. Can you see what I'm doing there? to kind of activate the paint is a little bit more challenging. And because it's got so many bristles, it does take a lot of paint. That's a very, very good thing in a watercolor brush, if you ask me. You do want it to be holding lots of gorgeous, juicy color that you can make lovely marks with. Now, even though it's only a ½ inch, and with a flat brush that is ½ an inch, you will only be able to make a ½ an inch wide mark. But with this one, because of that angle, we can actually make a super broad mark. You can also turn the brush vertically and paint with that long edge and put in quite effective long straight lines. Painting a straightish line is much easier with a flat brush than with the tip of a round, because you have to paint less of the line, you know, because you're using a broader tool. It's actually putting in more of the mark as you go. So you have less drawing to do to make a bigger line, if you see what I'm saying. And then because it's so fine, we can actually draw with the very tip and get an even finer mark. And let's make sure it's got lots of juicy paint there. Using it almost perpendicular to the page, you can get hair-like marks. Apparently I can't talk and make hairline marks at the same time, but you get the same idea. You can get a varied mark as well by changing the pressure, so you can go very fine and then a little bit more pressure and a bit more fine and a bit more pressure. And the hairs are breaking up there and giving me rather a lovely fun effect. So it is a bit of fun to play with like that. The other thing you can do is it's quite nice to use this shape to kind of get into corners if you're trying to paint the corner of a leaf or a petal. And I find this is the shape that I keep ending up painting when I've got this brush in my hand. It's kind of encouraging me to make petal shapes, you know, droopy tulip leaves and things like that. So I do like its expressive quality, which comes from those wide bristles. Let me show you this bigger one, with the softer bristles. So it does take a lot more paint. So it'll make an even broader mark and very expressive. The softer the bristles are, the harder they are to control. So if you're a painter who likes to do very detailed drawings, you probably won't enjoy this sort of brush, and you probably won't enjoy these kind of bristles. But if you like loose, expressive painting and you like to let the paint do a little bit more collaborating and see what happens, then this can be a lovely thing to paint with. Let's do the same sort of thing we were doing there. Broader marks, finer marks. I mean, that's an amazingly fine mark. It's a little bit bonkers, isn't it, that you can get a mark that fine out of a brush that big. You know, that's quite exciting. Let's do some droopy leaves. See, I don't normally paint leaves that are sitting perfectly for a, you know, that sort of shape. But of course, you can. But you see how if you're painting tiny leaves, you're going to have a little bit of a problem. I guess you could do just the tip, but it's becoming harder and harder to control that way. Let's do those. And I do think if you've got a little bit of time to spare, and you want to do a little bit of painting, but you're not sure what to paint, filling a page like this with just brush marks is a very valuable thing to do. Don't think of it as a waste of paper. Think of it as an exploration of your supplies and what you can do with them. Because I think part of the problem for me, the reason I haven't been using the Dagger very much, is that I just don't feel comfortable with it. And I don't feel comfortable with it because I don't paint with it a lot. So the more you paint with it, the more you're going to get out of it. And it's a lot easier to kind of clock up that practice in a page like this, or in a really simple little practice exercise, than if you take the Dagger brush and, you know, try and do a full painting with it. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have a bit of a play with. And once you've got it in your hand, it does kind of encourage you to go and, make expressive marks. It's a lot of fun. But if you were buying just one brush, if you wanted to limit yourself to one brush for watercolor, my top recommendation would still be something like a nice big round, something like this. These are my 3 current favorites. This one's actually called a mop brush. Mop brushes hold lots and lots of paint and are often very nice and expressive. So we can do a lot of very similar things with this brush, but it's a little bit more controllable. Should we try and do our lines? See, you can still get a nice fine mark with it. You can also get quite a wide mark with it if you fill it with enough paint and press the whole belly of the brush down. You can get a wider mark. It's obviously more effective with a flat brush. Not more effective, more efficient with a flat brush, but this is the point about a round brush. It can do pretty much all the things, but you'll see it is a little bit more controllable than the Dagger was. So that's a mop. And then these are just ordinary standard rounds. If you like a snappier brush, this is the one I use. This is from Zen Art Supplies. It's a very inexpensive brush that comes in a set. With its stiff, snappy bristles, it's much easier to control. And obviously a round brush is great for making those leaf shapes. If you use put a bit more paint on your brush. Use the shape of the brush. Press and release, press and release. So it makes a rather lovely leaf shape on its own, but have a look at how different the size is. We can obviously paint bigger ones, but we'll have to do it in 2 strokes, not 1. But it just shows that this is still, a versatile brush, the round brush. Not quite as versatile as the rigger, not as expressive, but a little bit easier to use. My other favorite round is the Princeton version. So this is exactly the same, but because it's got softer bristles, you can get a little bit more expressive with it. Now, while I say that doing a page like this is a great use of your time, personally, I don't have too much patience to spend too much time doing something like this. I'd rather actually paint something, even if it's not a full painting. So I came up with a little project for myself that I could use to get comfortable with my Dagger brush. Actually, you can use it to get comfortable with any brush you like, and it's so much fun. It's in a separate video. So if you would like to use this little project to get comfortable with one of your brushes, that's the video you want to watch next.